Hey, yo, how you doing? This is your man, Foji Ghana, back again. Thank you for the massive support. We are heading towards 1,000 subscribers, which is massive. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep commenting, so we grow this channel together. Now, Arsenal transfer business is getting hotter and hotter. It's getting more thrilling and enthralling and getting more exciting every single day, because right now we are pursuing a big striker in the name of Victor Osimhen from Napoli. Now, this striker is an elite forward, we know that. Is mentioned to be among the best top 5 strikers in the world. And he has been performing consistently. In the season 2022-2023, this striker was on fire. He notched 26 goals in 32 matches. That is the definition of a clinical striker. And that's why this striker is very highly rated. Last season, he didn't play as many games. He had a bit of an injury. He only played 25 games throughout the whole season, but he still managed to notch a respectable 15 goals. So this is an elite finisher. He's got all the qualities you need in a striker. He's got upper body strength. He can hold the ball with his back to goal. He's very direct. He's very strong. He can run very fast. And his finishing is elite. He can hold off a defender and create space for himself within the box and shoot. He's lethal in the box, very good area ability. So this is a striker who will definitely improve Arsenal's forward line. So this guy is a proper striker, very much in demand in previous windows, but this window has not seen a lot of demand for him for some reason. Arsenal are the big ones mentioned to be going for him. Of course, there's been a big offer, we are told, from Saudi Arabia, big money, but the player prefers to come to Arsenal Football Club. And I know lots of Nigerians, are big fans of Arsenal, and I wouldn't be surprised if this player grew up idolizing Arsenal as his football club. And secretly, he's an Arsenal fan who actually wants to come and actualize his childhood dream. I'm just putting that out there that could be the case in this case. Now, Arsenal's strategy in this transfer market is actually beginning to take shape. It looks like Arsenal are going out for a marquee striker, a big forward, a gunman, player with X factor who can guarantee you 25 plus goals a season. And it looks like that person for them right now is Victor Osimhen from Napoli. The Arsenal hierarchy believe they can get this player for a bargain, 70 million thereabouts pounds. It remains to be seen. Napoli are very hard bargainers. They don't give their players for cheap, and they can actually hold their ground. You saw what happened with Koulibaly when he wanted to come to Chelsea, how they held it out for very long. So the same thing, Arsenal must be prepared to have a long slug with Napoli. We would like to see how this progresses, because Victor Osimhen, big money, Napoli rate him at around 102 million pounds. And Arsenal believe there's a market opportunity. They are going in for an opening offer of about 63 million pounds. I'm not sure how that is going to progress, but this is definitely one to watch. Now, it looks like Arsenal have actually learned their lessons from previous windows, where they went all in for one player, like when they went for Vlahovic, who was at Fiorentina then, and they ended up missing out on him, and they didn't have enough time to go back for their fallback option, who was Alexander Isak back then. So this time looks like Arsenal have got other targets who are on standby in case they don't get the number one target, who has emerged to be Victor Osimhen. Now, those targets are Victor Gyökeres. Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, a very highly rated striker. He's played in England before, in the Championship with Coventry. Last season, he scored 29 goals in 33 fixtures for them. Very impressive return. And this player has actually got everything you need as well. He's very strong. He's able to make space for himself and shoot. He's very clinical in front of goal, of course, from his goal tally. And he's also got a very respectable return in terms of assists. He's got 9 assists. This shows a complete player who's able to bring other players into the game and who's able to play for the team. Victor Gyökeres, one to look out for. The club are saying that he won't cost less than 85 million pounds. And they're not willing to take less than that. So it looks like it's a hard bargain. Sporting Lisbon, of course, also a very hard bargaining team. They can drive a hard bargain. We know that. So Arsenal look like they are going for Victor Osimhen. Fullback is Victor Gyökeres. But they also have other woods in the fire. They have Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, will cost about 87 to 90 million pounds, because Feyenoord have made it clear they won't let him go at below the transfer record for Eredivisie, which was Anthony's transfer to Manchester United at 87 million pounds. So this player is being actually touted to go for about 90 million pounds, which is pretty expensive. No wonder he has not been mentioned too much, because I think Arsenal are trying to go for a player in the region of 60 to 70 million pounds. That is sort of their sweet spot. Even Gyökeres, it's mentioned that actually Arsenal would prefer to buy him at a price of about 50 to 60 million pounds. That's the price they believe he is truly worth in the market. So what about the wingers? Arsenal have been linked with the likes of Xavi Simmons, Pedro Neto, Niwel Williams, Johan Bakayoko, and Federico Chiesa. Now, it looks like Arsenal really like this player, Niwel Williams, with a release clause of about £45 million. We know this player brings a lot of pace in attack. He's got very good crossing. He notches up lots of assists and lots of goals as well to boot. And he's a young player, 21 years old. Looks like it could be a perfect understudy for Saka. But it looks like Arsenal may be a bit reluctant to spend upwards of £45 million for a player who essentially is going to be a backup to Saka. And that's why Arsenal are being mentioned to be linked with players like Victor Sigankov from Girona, who's rumored to be costing around that £25 to £30 million mark. And also Desiree Doué will cost about £35 million. But the player that I actually think makes a lot of sense in Arsenal's transfer strategy is Xavi Simmons. Xavi Simmons, of course, is a player whom we know belongs to PSG. He's been going on loan for the past 2 seasons or so, and he's gone to loan to RB Leipzig, and he's done quite well. In fact, the previous window when he was at PSV, he scored about 20 plus goals, from midfield, which is a very healthy return. He's a bowler. He's a player who's very comfortable playing in any of the front 3 positions. He can play as an attacking number 10. He can play on the left. He can play on the right wing. And he's got that tenacity that you want from a player. Like, give the ball to me, I'll do this. And he's not scared of big moments. I remember when we played against them in the Champions League when he was at PSV, he proper gave our defense a scare, with his direct runs, good dribbling, shooting. He proper takes the game to the opposition, and he never disappears on the pitch. He's always asking for the ball. And I will imagine what a good partnership they will form with the likes of Odegaard. Now, something interesting about this player is that PSG have got a clause with PSV that if they sell this player, they have to give a big percentage of that money to PSV. And that explains why this player has been going on loan time and again. And right now, that clause, that agreement they have with PSV actually runs out in 2025. So it looks like PSG might favor sending him out on loan once more. And that is the big opportunity for Arsenal Football Club. I believe this can be an Odegaard-like kind of deal, where the player comes in and spends the season with us on a loan deal. We sort of have time to have a look at him, to run the rule under him and see how he fares, how he manages situations, how he integrates with the rest of the team. And then we must insist when we are doing this deal that at the end of the season, we have the option to buy. Similar with what we've done with Raya. With Raya, we brought him in. He has played very well. And now Arsenal are said to be tying up that £27 million to make him a permanent purchase for us. So interesting player. He's in the Netherlands squad in the Euros. So take your time to have a look at him. And I believe he can be a very good signing for us on that attacking position, either in the middle or in the wings. Now, coming to midfield, it's going to be very interesting to see how Arteta fills these positions. We are being told that Partey is leaving. Now, if Partey is leaving, we have to fill in his athleticism and also his progressive passing. And we have Rice, of course. Rice excels in a number 6. I think there's no better number 6 in the world right now, maybe Rodri at City, who can compete with Rice in terms of that anchor number 6. But we also see that Rice is also very good going forward. He can play as a number 8, going bombing forward, supporting Odegaard in the attack. And he has got some very good returns, 7 goals last season. So that's the conundrum right there. Do we want to bring in a number 6 or do we want to bring in a number 8 so that Rice plays number 6? I had someone discussing this and they were saying, can we get a better number 6 than Rice? And he said, potentially in the current market, we cannot get a better number 6 than Rice. But can we get a better number 8 than Rice? And of course, yes, we have players who can actually play that attacking side of the midfield better than Rice. And in this case then, it remains to be seen how Arteta, works this out. But it looks like, in all likelihood, Arteta is going to push Rice to play that number 8. It looks like that's the situation right now. And that is why once the transfer window opened on Friday last week, the first rumors we had were about Arsenal going for Amadou Onana from Everton. Now, Amadou Onana has proven himself to be an absolute engine in the Premier League playing for Everton. He's got very good tackling ability. He's full of runs, very athletic. He can run the full 90 minutes. He is a big presence in midfield and he can play that defensive number 6 very well, which means that Rice can now be freed to bomb forward and join Odegaard in attack. And looks like that is what Arteta is going to do in this transfer window. And Onana makes very good sense in that case. And added to the fact that he's only going to cost about £50 million, rumored, maybe potentially slightly less than that, or maybe slightly more. But it looks like that price margin right there is Arsenal's sweet spot to fill that position. Now, of course, we know we have Youssouf Fofana from Monaco. This is a player that I actually rate very highly. He's got better progressive passing ability than Amadou Onana. He can do those party-like passes straight through the lines. He's also a big engine. He's full of running, very athletic, big presence in midfield, and he's one of those also who could offer us what Amadou offers, and I believe even slightly more than what Amadou offers. You can see him playing for France in the Euros, coming on as a substitute normally, and he's a very good player. Plus, he's going to cost less than Onana. I think he's being rumored to be costing around 25 to 30 million pounds, which is an absolute steal. One that I believe we can also go for. So in all likelihood, it looks like that midfield is going to be a straight choice between Onana and Youssouf Fofana. Coming to defense, it's not yet very clear our defensive positions. It appears that Arteta prefers to sell before he buys in the defensive positions, because we still have the likes of Zinchenko, Kivio, whose futures are still a bit fluid, and it looks like he prefers to sell before he can go for our targets. Of course, the likes of Jarell Harton being mentioned heavily. Murillo from Nottingham Forest has also been mentioned a lot this week in connection with Arsenal Football Club. Also other players like Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth, Bradley Loco, who was in the French Team of the Year, plays as a left back, and of course Fadi Kadioglu, who plays in Fenerbahce in Turkey. So lots of exciting players. And of course, the keeper position is also one we need to fill. Ramsdale wants to go. I believe something in the region of 20 to 30 million pounds is going to get Ramsdale through the door. And then Arsenal will try to replace this keeper, of course, with the likes of Andre Lunin from Real Madrid. It doesn't make much sense to me, to be honest. I don't see why Lunin will swap being a second choice keeper at Real Madrid to be a second choice keeper at Arsenal Football Club. But he's out there being mentioned a lot with Arsenal Football Club. And of course, we have Wojciech Szczesny, previously at Arsenal Football Club, went on to Juventus, an absolute legend in that club. Now he's about 34 and is being rumored to want to come back to Arsenal Football Club. He will be a good keeper. Of course, he's playing for Poland as well in the Euros. I rate him quite highly myself. And as a backup keeper, I think would be a very good choice for Arsenal Football Club. Of course, we also have the likes of Justin Bilo, who plays there in the Dutch League, and Jason Steele, who plays for Brighton in the Premier League. So lots of players there linked with Arsenal Football Club. We know that Arsenal are trying to achieve two things. They're trying to raise their floor. That is, when you look on the bench, you see players who can actually come on and impact the game. They're also trying to raise their ceiling. That is, bring in players who can push this team to even higher heights. You know, players who can bring that X factor, who can be moment players, who can bring that galvanizing effect to the rest of their teammates. And that is why when we are being mentioned with the likes of Victor Osman, it actually really resonates very well with me, because this is a player who I believe, if he stays fit, can make our attack one of the most feared attacks in the Premier League and in Europe. Oh my, imagine that team. Imagine that match they squad. Playing away, let's say at City, we've got Victor Osman as our number 9. We've got Saka on the right wing. We've got Martinelli on the left. At the center, we've got Odegaard, Rice, and anchoring, we've got Onana or Youssouf Fofana, either of them. And of course, our backline is White, Gabriel, Saliba, and left back, we've got Timber, fully fit and back. Wow. And of course, Ryan goal. That will be magnificent. And that is what this transfer window is about. It's about making Arsenal go that extra level where we have players who can actually make a difference. And at the focal point of that team is going to be a top striker, proper gunman, who I hope is going to be Victor Osimhen. That's the kind of team that sends a thrill down my spine, that really excites me. And I hope Edu and Arteta can get this done. Thank you for listening. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and comment. God bless. Bye-bye.